Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. It's an online, free, private group for women. There's a huge disconnect between what we go after and what we really want. Let's move forward. Join Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. Do you sometimes feel unfulfilled and confused about your purpose? You don't have to go it alone. Come on over to the No Judgment Zone where you're going to connect with other like-minded women from all over the world and receive support from others who have been through similar situations. Everyone has a story. What's your story? Seeking guest speakers. Do you have a story, talent, or ability that you would love to share? We invite you to be our guest. Hello and welcome to Her Story, Our Story. My name is Stephanie Wall. They call me Speaker Stephanie. I am the CEO and founder of Speaker Stephanie LLC and the founder of Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power, and the founder of 1 Million Lives Transformed, where we transform lives, relationships, and finances. The goal is for every woman, every person to transform their lives. I particularly super serve those women who've experienced trauma in their lives. Welcome to Her Story, Our Story. Remember, you belong here. You belong there. You belong everywhere. Be sure to shine your light. My name is Stephanie Wall, and I'm certainly getting it all. Come on in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Her Story, Our Story. My name is Hope Jackson, founder of Always Hope, and my purpose and goal is to help women to unlock what is hidden inside them. I know from experience that sometimes in life when you're going through dark times, you don't realize the purpose that you have inside of you. So my goal is to help you to find that, and just to remind you that no matter what you go through in life, there is always hope.
I was like, where am I? Where am I? All right, y'all. Look, we're gonna jump right in. We got artists, we got authors, we got women, we got God-Fident women. So let me just bring on my co-host, because we already introduced ourselves. We already introduced ourselves. So look, Hope, without further ado, because we want to jump right in. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to you so you can open this up in decency and order.
Good evening, everyone. If you could just bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight. We thank you for the powerful women of God that have come on to join us tonight to share some wisdom and knowledge and understanding that will trickle down to other women who are looking to be God-Fident women. So, Lord Father God, we thank you. We give you all the honor and glory for everything that will take place in this evening and in our lives for the rest of the evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, so look, this is where Hope and I get to bring up our guests. So what we're going to do, we have several ladies. We're going to bring them up a couple at a time, and we're going to ask them a couple of questions because I know you all want to know all of the things that we want to know. So let's go and bring them to the stage, and they can tell us all about who they are, who they serve, and what is this God-Fident woman. So coming up first, we're going to bring Sebrina. I'm going to say their names as they come up. Sebrina, Dr. Charlene, Dr. Stevie, welcome to the stage. Wait a minute, the people are already talking. So what we want to know first, because my co-host, she has a question for you all first. Hope.
So we always like to open up and ask, if you had the option to go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Would you go to a mountainy type resort, or would you do like ocean beach type resort?
Well, I'll start. I've never been, but I just want to go to Switzerland. So I guess that's mountainous area. I just want to go to Switzerland. It sounds nice.
Well, for me, I want to go to Dubai, and that was supposed to be my birthday gift this year in the 2 months, but it's not going to happen yet. But the reason why I want to go to Dubai is because it is the place that used to be a desert and nothing existed. But Dubai helps me to realize the power of the mind. You know, it was thought of. We can make this into something else. So that's why I want to go to Dubai, to see the opulence, something that was birthed out of nothing. So that's why I want to go to Dubai.
I love that. I just spent some time last month in Jamaica, Mom. And so I need to go back. I am all about buying me some property in Jamaica. I'm serious about that. Stephanie knows me well. This is my goal, that I'm about to make some money. I'm about to figure out how to monetize this whole situation. And so Jamaica is where I want to go back to, where I want to be.
Y'all know what? First of all, let me see here. So first of all, we're going to Switzerland. Sabrina, you like the cold? You ski? What's going on? You're going to be what's going on with you? Do you like to ski?
Well, it's not so much that. I just want to go somewhere I've never been and snuggle up, you know, and just enjoy.
Okay, I received it. And Dr. Charlene, that's on my list. Dubai. And baby, Jamaica, man, come on, man, come on. You can't go wrong with Jamaica. And see, you go ahead and get that property, because if you got property in Jamaica, we all got property in Jamaica. That's what they say.
Yes, we do.
So wait a minute, Hope, what is this next question you have for these ladies?
That's a very good question.
Okay, well, wait a minute. I want to know. Well, actually, no, you know what? I want to rotate this out, because I do want to know from each one of you individually, because I want to see you. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions when I bring you up by yourself. I want to know, one, the first thing is I ask each one of you all to bring something that meant a lot to you. So I want you to share that with us. But then I also would like you to, before you do that, is to tell me what your 6-word story is. And I want you to tell me a little bit about that. So I'm going to start with Dr. Stevie, just because she's right here, right underneath my picture. So we're going to start there. We'll see the rest of you all in just a few minutes. All right? All right, Dr. Stevie.
Awesome.
What item do you have for us? What do you have?
I had to bring a picture of me and my daddy.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to let you have this screen by yourself one.
That's me and my daddy, and it's in my Disney World frame. Right now, my daddy actually is in the hospital, y'all. So this means a lot to me, being able to see him and to see us when we're smiling, because he is in the hospital. So yes, that's what I would bring. That's what I did bring.
Oh, well, you know, we sending special hugs and peace and joy and all those things your way, and special prayers up for your daddy that's in the hospital.
Thank you.
You're a daddy's girl. I feel it, girl. That's my lip. We're going to keep that and we bring it together. But I appreciate that. I thank you. I honor you for bringing your dad's picture. The two of you.
Thank you.
So tell me, Dr. Stevie, what is your 6-word story?
Helping Christian women make 6 figures.
Helping Christian women make 6 figures. And you know, I know the answer to this question because I'm in the group, but I want you to, one, tell everyone who you are, what you do, who do you serve, and what does those 6 words mean. I'm going to go back so everybody can just see you.
Okay. So hello, everyone. I am Dr. Stevie. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much to Stephanie and Hope, and of course, Dr. Karen. And so I really help my clients to use their knowledge and expertise to make money online. I'm an author, speaker, and a coach. And those 6 words are important to me because myself, I went from 5 years ago when I couldn't figure out how to make $800 in my business. I got evicted from my home to now making multiple 6 figures in the midst of the pandemic. So that's what that means to me. That's why I said that, because I'm on a mission to help even more Christian women get the bag. Okay.
And she is the best visibility coach in the town. So if you listen, if you sit there and say, what am I doing? When am I going to get started? Start with finding Dr. Stevie. You found her. She's right here. And contacting her and connection. She's going to tell you, get out there, get started. So Dr. Stevie, thank you. I can't wait to ask you some more questions. So you'll be back in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead on up and bring Dr. Charlene. We're going to rotate you on in. All right, hold on. All right, Dr. Charlene.
Yes.
So I want to know, what is that item? What is the item that means a lot to you?
I had to think of so many things. I was like, what can I bring? What do I have? What do I have? So I found something today. And that hold me and dear. I had these, I don't know if can you see them, my little Oriental dolls.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna back. I do see the women. Okay, wait a minute. I want you to tell us what that is. So I'm gonna back out so they can see a full view.
Now, I know that Asian, politically correct, they're called Asian dolls, but when I was younger, we used to call them Oriental dolls. But these dolls I hold near and dear to me because I received these when I was 12 years old from my dad. He traveled around the world. He was a minister of the gospel, and he went to Seoul, Korea. And it's the biggest church, Youngji Cho Church in Korea in the 70s. And this is something that he brought back for me. And they're in my closet upstairs in my bedroom. So it's something that's near dear to me. And I cherish these. My father went home to be with the Lord in 1980. So, I mean, I have a lot of different things, but these are something I have since I was a child, you know? So I cherish these. I guess I'm not going to get rid of them. So this is what I hold near to dear.
I love that. So pull them up again.
Okay, so this is their two girls, and then there's a man, and they borrowed.
And your dad used to bring them home for you. That is amazing.
Well, he bought whenever he traveled. He bought things. I have a trunk from Haiti and a carved trunk from Haiti in my living room. He brought me shoes from Italy. He brought me clothes from around the world, Africa, Swahili, and just different places he traveled. He always bring things home, jewelry. So that's that. And Manu, I'm the 15 of 16 kids, same mother, same father. So he bought things for all of us. So I just want you to know that.
Also, y'all, I love it. I love it. Look, I'm running around here with holding on to these little coins that I get from when I travel. You know, the money.
And I have that too. I have coins upstairs. I have dollars. I have all of that upstairs too. You know, that's awesome. I have all that too. Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't wait to learn some more information. All right, so you'll be back in the. Wait a minute. Did you tell us who you were? No, we didn't get to that. Now. I need to know the 6-word story, and I need to know what your 6-word story is, and I wanted you to tell me who you are, who you serve, and how do you serve. So I'm falling back because I want you to tell me who you are and all that good stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you very much, Stephanie. Well, my 6-word story is there anything too hard for me? And the reason why I have that as my 6-word story, because of where I know God to be for me. I know him to be a healer physically. I know him mentally, emotionally, to be a deliverer, a mind regulator. I know people say that. I know God to be a mind regulator. I know that. I know what it's like to be a mind regulator. That kept me from losing my mind, from attempting suicide when I thought my life was jacked up, when I had so many deaths in my family, grief of, you come from a large family, you have a lot of grief, a lot of deaths. He healed my broken heart from grief, from hurt, from offenses, from rejection, from sexually molestation. So I know him to be that for me. I know him to be a provider. And because of that has transitioned me into being what I do for people. I'm a life strategist. I'm a transformational specialist, and I empower professional women to overcome those life-altering experiences, the trauma, to come out of hiding, to recover their identity so they can live their life by design and not by default. So I do that through premier one-on-one coaching, group coaching, my books, ebooks, e-courses, webinars, just to empower others, to let them know that, hey, you're not your past. You can move forward to whatever things that God has for you, what he's prepared for you, purpose for you to do, because you want to live your life by design and not by default. So that is my 6-word story. Is there anything too hard for me? That is what God said. I couldn't put it in. I'm the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Because that's more than 6 words, but that is my story. There's nothing too hard for him. There's no situation, there's no circumstance that you're facing that you cannot come out of, that you can't get help for, that you can't overcome. So I've been in there. I know what hope deferred makes the heart sick. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be hopeless. But I can definitely connect and empathize with those people who feeling discouraged, you know, that feel that suicide is the only way out. Yes. I've been there.
No, don't hold it, girl. You gotta give me something to get to. You can't get that story to him yet. That's meat and potatoes. Hold that one. All right. So wait a minute. We're gonna rotate because my co-host is getting ready to come and ask these same questions of Sebrina. So hold tight. We're switching up. Dr. Charlene, we got more to talk about. So hold tight.
Okay.
Hello there, Sebrina. So,
Hi, how are you?
Good. So do you have your object that you would like to share with us and then explain what that object is and what it means to you?
I absolutely do. And I find it amazing that we're all, my photo, this is me as a child, but we're all relating it to fathers. And so I'm the first to say this. As a child, I didn't know my dad, and I got to know my dad when I was in my 40s. And it was his voice. He didn't have much, but all I needed was his voice. And it touched a tender spot in me. So I still have this little girl in me from being raised by a single parent mom and ultimately meeting my dad and finding the grating missing link in my life. It was, I would never be the same again. It was quite tender.
All right, that's beautiful. So what is your 6-word story? And just kind of briefly, just touch on what that means to you.
Well, my 6-word story is not exactly your cup of tea, not exactly my cup of tea. And what that means is we all go through challenges in life that we wish that cup could just pass from us. So it's not our cup of tea, but it's a cup of tea that we must drink in order to grow. The word says when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man or woman, I put away childish things. And that's what girlfriends are for. I am the founder and CEO of Girlfriends Tea. So I host a virtual talk show and I also retail tea. But the purpose for Girlfriends Tea is to connect women, to connect us. We find girlfriends in Girlfriends Tea because we know the word says if you want to have friends, you must first show yourself to be friendly. So the reason for this is that girlfriends, true girlfriends, girls that we can really talk to, will help us to grow. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Can't wait to hear more about this tea. All right. Well, Stephanie, who do we have up next? You're on mute, honey.
That's why I got this cup that said you're on mute. That's for me to remind me because I think I'm the one. So I want to know from each one of you why. The first thing is, did you ever think that you were going to be an author? And is this your first time being an author in a book? And if not, how many books have you authored? So first of all, answer the first question is, did you ever think that you would be an author? And if you are an author of many, then I want you to tell me how many other books you are an author in. And you guys can unmute and pick a person, whoever wants to go first.
Well, I'll go first. I never thought I would be an author, even though I did write poetry. I wrote poetry. I released it on a CD. I just didn't publish it in a book, but I never thought I would be an author. But this was an opportunity for me at this season in my life for me to open up publicly. So I'm excited about the opportunity. So it's the first time, the God-Fident Anthology, the God-Fident Woman is my first time being published.
Definitely for me, I never thought I was going to be an author. And 27 books in, I am definitely an author. I am definitely an author. I never thought I would be one. And so it's just a blessing to be able to be one.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Dr.
You said 20, how many?
Wow.
It's 20.
27. I'm in my 27th book now, which is an anthology, The Click to Cash. It's volume 2. So yes, so that's where we are.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Sauce. Woo! I'm in Click to Cash 1. Okay, I digress. Dr. Charlene?
Yes, well, this is God-Fident is not my first book. It's my second anthology. This is my first book, Rescripted Life. I authored this book, and this was my first book. Did I ever think I was going to be an author? I did. I love writing. That is one of my favorite pastimes to do, is write. It just was a matter of me getting out of my way to, overcoming perfectionism to be an author, and just to, just write the words and just put it out there. So I sat on this book for a while. My second book is a part of an anthology, Surviving Her, and it talks about Count It All Joy. Talks about overcoming trauma and the things in your life. And then I have the opportunity to be in God-Fident, and I'm working on another anthology as well. My Sister Healed Me. So this will be my fourth book this year. So I'm excited. I have hopefully many, many, many more to come.
I love that. So, this is her story, our story, right? We all have a story. It's 1 hour of power. And each one of you kind of gave a little bit of your story, but I would like for each one of you to individually tell our listeners and our viewers of a time when you failed at something and how you overcame it. Because, we often hear about the successes, but we don't hear about those opportunities. See, failures, there was always a lesson, right? There's a lesson in the labor. But did you overcome something and how you overcame it? And you guys can decide who goes.
Well, I can start. I can go first. My life is probably more failures than successes, but that John Maxwell states that it's okay to fail as long as you fail early and you fail forward, and you just get up. So that's number one. So I have failed a lot in my life, just from growing up and not knowing about the molestation and different things that took place in my life. So they put me on a trajectory of losing my identity. And because of that, I made some very, very poor choices. Progressing from a young woman, getting married, ended up having a divorce, being involved in relationships that was not, appropriate to be involved as a married woman. And so that, my marriage ended up, because of everything else, ended up going through a divorce. So that was a failure. So that, to me, that was like the scarlet letter A, to be have committed adultery and then to have gone through a divorce. And that was like the first time in my life that I really felt despondent. I felt, here I'm a bishop's daughter, I'm not supposed, and then the divorce, adultery and divorce, these are two things that the Bible talks about. And I just felt that my life is no good. It's useless. There's nothing else that I can do with it. I just felt so depressed. And prior to that, I relocated to Virginia from New York with 3 sons, 1, 6, and 9 years old at the time. And I was, like, I'm here, I'm just going to come and just sit. Maybe this will be my wilderness experience. And while I was here, I was served divorce papers and an eviction notice on the same week. So Monday, I got the eviction notice. Tuesday, I got the divorce papers. And I was like, wait, what is going on? So that didn't make things even better. And I was ready to just give up and relocate. So I had to go into a shelter as an educator. I was able to go into a shelter in this local shelter in this area. So those are all things that's really chipped up at my self-esteem, of my self-respect, of how I viewed myself. But I knew that when I was transitioning from New York to Virginia, that it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be hard, but I knew that I wouldn't fail. I knew that God would not let me go under, because he said he would never leave me nor forsake me. But it's through these circumstances, through these situations, that just trusting in him, just learning how to rescript my life, going through counseling, going through coaching, going through therapy, healing and deliverance, and just really yielding myself to the process that I'm here today. I remember when I was in the therapy a couple of years back, and the therapist spoke this day into existence. She said, you're going to write books. You're going to tell women about your story. And I told her, listen, I'm not telling nobody nothing. All I want to do is feel better. I want to get healed. I'm not going to tell anybody about anything. But here I am today, sharing my story so that someone else can come out of their trauma, so someone else can walk through out of the dark spaces. And I want to be that person that helps them journey on that path.
Thank you, Dr. Charlene. That's a powerful story. That's they talk about, those trials becoming now testimonies, all that. That I thank you for being transparent.
That's one of many, honey. That's one of many stories. I was trying to think of which one should I tell.
Well, and I received, and that's another thing. And that's another thing.
Yeah. Well, most women won't talk about that. Most women won't share that, but there's no shame. It is what it is, but I'm not who I was.
Well,
yeah.
No, but we're gonna hear some more. But all right, so wait a minute. We got another Deborah. We have a Deborah in the house. I'm gonna bring Deborah up because y'all need to meet Deborah. Hold tight, you all. Here she comes. Here she comes. We'll be right back, Dr. Charlene. Deborah Frye, look, Grief Care and Consultant LLC. All right, now, so I don't know. Did you have a chance to? Do you have your a 6-word story?
Yes, I do.
Well, well, Deborah, what is your 6-word story? No worries.
My 6-word story is your bridge from grief to gladness. As a grief consultant for the last 23 years, I have been helping people over the bridge of grief, and with my expertise, I am able to get them from some grief to gladness, back to some assurance, and learn some coping skills. So it has been a tremendous purpose and passion for me to connect with the brokenhearted, and especially during this time with us being 2 years into a pandemic and so many things that are just going on in the world today. So it has been a tremendous joy for me to connect to the brokenhearted with the skills that God has blessed me with.
Well, I want to know because I want to know some more stuff. Okay, so this is the thing. You have a chance to bring something that means a lot to you.
Yes.
So I want you to share that, and then even though you give us a little bit of it, I want you to tell everybody who you are, who you serve, and what do you tell them a little bit more about what you do, just so they can feel that, and then we'll wrap it from there.
All right. The special thing that I bring is this heart pendant. With my mom, I carry her with me always. It is a cremation pendant. So it is a piece of my mom that I carry with me to give me strength to help those that are in need of that grief help and that love. So I listen to my clients with my heart so that I can connect with them as I need to connect with them. So that is absolutely what I love to do. And I serve the entire community, right? Because we all grieve about something on a daily basis. So I serve the entire world. And I love to connect to people that I don't know. It doesn't matter if I don't know them. If they're grieving, I am able to assist them in one way or another, whether it is the loss of a loved one, whether it is going through a divorce, whether it's loss of a pet, whether it is going through church hurt, self-shame, loss of a relationship, whatever your deep sadness is, I am the bridge to get you from that grief to some gladness.
So before we switch, I want you to think about this other thing is, when I bring you back, I want you to tell them of a time that you failed at something and how you recovered.
Absolutely.
But I do want to know before we switch you out, is this your first book or you've been an author several times before?
No, this is my 8th book. And it is my 8th book. And last year, I poured into myself, into my business, and I collaborated with women to become a 4-time best-selling author last year through 4 anthologies. So it has been a tremendous journey. And my 8th book is, I did a coloring book. It's called Grief in Color. And it is positive quotes and affirmations for ages 10 and up. So I've just launched that on my father and husband's birthday, January 10th. Their birthday is on the same day. So I launched that book in honor of them. So, and
That's
I'm
awesome.
now in the process of working in 3 additional anthologies and a project of my own that I would launch in June.
This is fantastic. Okay, well, we're thinking about what thing you had you failed at, right? And the opportunity and how you overcame. So just a moment. All right, we'll bring you back in a moment. All right, Sebrina, this you all. I know you're saying, man, they have got some stories. They've got some stories. All right, Sebrina, tell us about you. Tell us what's the thing you already showed us. You showed us a picture. You told us what you did. Now tell me about a time that you experienced a failure and how you overcame it.
Well, when I graduated from high school, I had an academic diploma. I was high in math and science, and I was admitted to Old Dominion University in the field of mechanical engineering. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really didn't. So the advisor said, well, you seem to be high in math and science, so let's just try engineering. And I failed at that because I was too busy having fun. I really was. I am a socialite. I've always been, but a socialite needs to have boundaries and be controlled as well. So I flunked out of mechanical engineering. It was a tough field, but to be admitted was no small feat. And I was able to maintain my grades until I just started to get into this party life. And I felt like, well, maybe college isn't for me. But I did return to school and I graduated with my bachelor's in 95. And now I'm going back. I'm in school now at Virginia Bible College for my master's in ministry. So it was a big deal for me when I went back to school because I said, you failed yourself. But what really hurt, why I really failed, was I didn't tell my mother. She thought I was going to school for months and I was going to work. And I was horrified when I think she followed me one morning and she came into the job. I was absolutely horrified and she was absolutely disappointed in me. So that's why I failed her. But I redeemed myself.
Wow. And listen, I was with you. I was all in the story with you. And when you said mama follows you, I was like, ooh, girl. Right there. I was feeling it. And as a mother, yeah.
Yeah.
But you
I was bad.
You're not the only person who has ever went to college and had them a good time and had to reset. That's just a reset. That's all that is.
That's it.
All right. Now, wait a minute. Dr. Charlene told, I'm coming back. I think I'm circling back. Y'all know when I lost my train. So thank you for that. We'll be right back. Dr. Charlene, did we do you already? On this particular thing?
Yes, ma'am. I think.
Okay, wait a minute. Stand by. I'm getting my doctors mixed up. Stand by. Dr. Stevie. Dr. Stevie, look, I probably have lived, get ready to know this, could probably tell this story, one of them, but I want you to. So yes. Please tell them about a time that you failed at something and how you recovered.
Yes, ma'am. So I was sitting, waiting in the wings for these stories because I could identify with everyone who's spoken about these failures. I actually was speaking on Clubhouse about this today and how we don't welcome the opportunity to fail. And so, yes, I have been in the steps of failing almost out of school. I was too scared of my mama, so I ain't fell all the way out. But also eviction. A lot of people know that I've been evicted from my home 5 years ago when I couldn't figure out how to make $800 within 30 days. And so I failed, I thought, at business at that time, but it just was the opportunity to reshift. And during the midst of the pandemic, I've been able to become a multi-six-figure earner in my business because I really utilized what I knew to really get clear and help people to make money online. So I believe in the power of failing forward. And like the other lady said, I think there's so many different opportunities in life and business where we can see it as a failure, but it really is a lesson. So that's what I would say.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. All of that. And Dr. Stevie, it's so many of us, and as everybody mentioned, so many of us, I'm going to bring everybody back here. So many of us have stories and people, hold on. I bring my thing down. So many of us have so many stories, and other people that are listening, they may have a similar story, the darn near exact story, and they may never have spoken of it because they think they're the only ones going through it, or there's shame and blame, right? Shame and blame is something. It just clothes you in a whole something. You sitting around with tightening up, and you got on a full cloak, but you still feel that you are naked, right? Yeah. And so you all speaking your truth has just been powerful. So you all look in the chat. If there's any questions of these ladies, you don't have to wait. Ask them now as we go on. They'll be looking, and if they miss the question, we'll get it. But we want you to ask those questions. And we've also asked them each to put their contact information in the chat so that you know how to reach them. This is an opportunity for you to reach out because there's somebody in this group, if not somebody's, that is in your lane of brilliance and or is speaking your story, and they will help you get to your next. They'll help you get to your next. So this is where Dr. Stevie, how did I know? I'm like, somebody missing. Why is it looking great? Dr. Stevie, I'm like, why is my screen doesn't look even? All right, so this is where I want you all to tell me this. If you were talking to your 16-year-old self, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to keep your legs shut. That's what I would tell her, because until I got to know Jesus Christ, I'm telling you, I have a testimony. I know that when I gave my life to Christ in my 30s and told some of the girls that I hung with, that I was shutting it down. I mean, it was a word. It was the Holy Spirit. The church I was in, no shacking, no fornicating. And it hit me hard, but I did it. And I will tell you this. One of them said to me, if I didn't know there was a God, I know there was. I know there's one now, because they knew how I rolled. They knew what I liked. Okay. And when I said I was shutting it down, I shut it down. But the Holy Spirit shut it down. It wasn't me, because it was impossible for me to do it. And some things we know, Stephanie and ladies, that, maturity would stop you from doing certain things. But in this case, it wasn't age. It was the Holy Spirit, because I was in my 30s. So I was still quite fruitful. I'll put it that way.
I know, not fruitful. Girl,
I was still quite fruitful, honey. Okay. I was still blooming. And so God shut it down. And I'm so godly proud of me allowing him to harness me. So what I would say to my young self is, amongst other things, keep your legs shut.
I received that. And let me just say this. I got married and shouldn't have. We're not equally yoked at all, right? Because a pastor told me don't stop living in sin and stop shacking. And this person was not good for me in many ways. So I understand. Next person.
I would say, girl, rock your it factor. Like, I think at the age of 16, I was trying to blend in so much, and it just never was something that I needed to blend into. Everybody, I think, that I thought was the cool kid really wasn't. And so for me, it was like, look at yourself and know that you the ish. I mean, my middle name is Aisha, so I'm the ish for real. So that's what I would say.
For me, I would tell my 16-year-old self to be authentic. I mean, at 16, because of the different things that occurred in my life, and I had no memory of it. I had repressed memory regarding my sexual abuse. So I was like a chameleon. Like I didn't have an identity. So I wanted to be this way or be that way or be this person or be that person. And I would just tell my 16-year-old self to love herself, to be authentic, to overcome, to stop trying to be perfect. Just be you. It's okay to make a mistake. So that's the advice I would give to my 16-year-old self.
Did we cover everybody?
I think I would say, know that you are special. Know that there is no one like you. You are the only one God has made on this earth. Nobody can duplicate you. So just be you and excel in it.
I love that. Co-host Hope, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
I would have to say, kind of what Deborah said, be you. Mm-hmm. Be you.
That's huge. I'm telling you, I think we're consistent with the idea that we would tell ourselves, our younger selves, one, just be authentically who you are, and don't try to be anybody else, and don't try to fit in. Mm-hmm. I bet you, we did a poll of this group right now. We all, if not just in our teens, but even as adults, spent an enormous amount of time trying to be someone that we weren't.
Yeah.
Trying to fit into places that we shouldn't have, right? And not to mention had a whole lot of regrets. But the difference is you turn the page not only just for yourself, but you put it on paper so somebody else can avoid some of those, whether it be a whole mountain or a molehill. So I honor you all for doing that. So I want you all, just don't give them the whole snippet. Don't give them the whole thing, but give them what is the name of your chapter in this book, and give us a little peek at it, a little peek. Wet the whistle. So don't give us the whole book, because we want to buy it. And just a reminder for those of you that haven't done so, the listeners, if you would like to get, because the Dr. Karen and the ladies said they'll give away five books, but you have to gotta say me and put your doggone email address in the chat right now. Me, and put your email in the chat, and we will make sure, they will make sure that you get a copy of this fabulous book, The God-Fident. Come on, somebody. All right.
Hey.
Dr. Stevie, who want to go? Oh, hold.
I'm sorry. Before they talk, can somebody kind of say what God-Fident Woman is? Just so the people know what it is.
Yes, tell them about tell us about what this book is, who this book is for, and then tell us about but please tell us the name of your chapter and put that in the chat so they know how to find you. And if you know your number, you know what chapter number are you? Put that in there too.
Is Sebrina talking to us? I'm not sure, but I'll go. The Confident Woman definitely is about having that confidence in God, of course, and really standing up into who He has created you to be, which is different than the confidence of the world, And my chapter, I had to look it up. I'm not even gonna lie. My chapter is God took me from negative $800 to multiple six figures. Amen. Right. That's a whole sermon right there.
Yes.
Wait a minute. You're not going to just say that again now? God took you where?
From negative $800 to multiple six figures.
I know y'all received that. Go ahead on. I see everybody talking about me. But they want this book. All right. Come on. Who's next?
Well, for me, mine was what I just shared, a ram in the bush. So I know you said 16-year-old self. So wasn't when I was 16, but that's what I would tell myself to keep, meaning as I mature. So I talk about that. I talk about how God delivered me from promiscuity, and He had a ram in the bush. So that's what I talk about.
Ram in the bush, and y'all know that right there by itself. I just, you know what? Is anybody else other than me? Because I already saw the first 5 people. They was fast. They knocked that. They were so fast. They were like, oh, somebody's sitting there right now like, come on, I can't type that fast. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. All right. What you got? Let me say, who's next? What you got?
I can go. My chapter is Broken to Beautiful, and I discuss the sexual abuse and the divorce and the grief that I went through in my life. I lost 7 family members, meaning brothers and sisters, mother and father. I don't go into detail as to exactly how, because our chapter was limited. But yes, within a period of 4 years, I lost 4 people in my family. Well, all while I was in college, and then after that, I lost a lot. So grief definitely played a lot in my life. And I was told that if I didn't have those particular griefs, I wouldn't have made the decision to get married to who I did at the time I did. So, yeah.
And for me, my chapter is Faith Uncovered. And, faith without works is dead. So it is something that you have to fight. Faith is something you have to fight through. Faith is something you have to have courage in. Faith is something that you have to be resilient in. You just have to be a fighter when it comes to faith, because what we see and what we hear and our emotions can trick us to think that we are not going in the right direction. But if you have that mustard seed of faith, you have to just pull off that cover, and you got to go for broke. And you got to just know that faith without works is dead. And you just have to be a worker in the faith.
Let me tell y'all, you all seeing that this is powerful. This is powerful. Is anybody else sitting there like, I'm like, doggone, when can we get these books? When will the books be available? And listen, I'm reading because Dr. Karen Hills Pruden, the visionary, she put on here, a God-Fident woman is a woman who relies on her relationship with God, regardless of what the world looks like externally. Mm-hmm. That is powerful.
That's it.
Powerful. So this is where, I want you all to tell me, what was the thing? Now I know that some of you had written other books, and but what was the one thing that drew you to this particular book? To decide to be an author in this particular book?
For me, go ahead.
Sabrina. Go ahead,
Okay.
Sabrina.
Okay.
SJ is before ST. Go ahead.
No, you're hilarious. Well, for me, I had recently shared at the first annual Girlfriends Tea Conference, which was really only known by two of my closest friends, that I was sexually molested, which is how God revealed to me in my 40s that is how the seed of promiscuity entered my spirit. And so I talk about that. But I said, hey, it's time. It's time. But I can say this, and I shared this at my conference privately with the women that were there, and I was very comfortable. But if my mother was still living, I would not have shared it, because it would have torn her to pieces, and I wouldn't have done that to her.
You wouldn't have shared it even, and that's
no,
real.
I knew my mother, so I knew that she would want me to relive it, and she would really feel hurt that, under her watch, as a child that happened, and I was not going to do that to her. And her best friend agreed with that. I think my mother would have tried to kill the gentleman, and I did share that at my conference. And my friend said her best friend said, your mom definitely would have tried to kill him. So I wanted to spare her that pain because I was okay.
Yeah, I received that because I'm as a mother, I'm kind of there. I feel you. I can understand all of that. Thank you, Dr. Stevie. What say you?
I definitely, and thank you, Sabrina, for sharing that. I could definitely relate on so many levels to that. What I would say is, first off, because it's Dr. Karen, I love Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. She is an amazing woman of God. And the second thing, anytime that I could be connected to powerful work that is going to support Christian women, it's a yes for me. It's an automatic yes for me. And so I love the fact that we are able to really connect, collaborate, change, cash out together, and to take it to the next level in this beautiful book. So that's what I would say.
And for me, it's an opportunity just to share my story. I have so many different facets of my life and so many different stories to share. I do not look like my past. Okay, I do not look like the woman that I was. I mean, I grew up in a Christian family. Like I said, my father was a bishop of a church. He was in church 7 days a week, and just to know that incidents that occurred in my life put me on a trajectory, because that all came out like in my 30s, college and 20s and 30s years old. I'm acting like, what's going on? I didn't know. Then I didn't have anybody to talk to, because in church, you just didn't share that. You just didn't talk about it. There was no, you just pray about it, whatever. So there was no place to talk about it. So me being part of the anthologies gave me opportunity to be an encouragement to other women, just to let them know, hey, but you have a story to tell. Your life is not over. It's okay. We overcome. You can overcome. It's through the power of Jesus Christ that I'm standing here. And that's just how I view it. He's been so good to me. He's been so faithful to me. I remember sitting in college one day and literally feeling my mind going out. Like, really, when people say they almost lost their mind, I felt it going out the window. It's almost like I had to snatch it back. I had to say the blood of Jesus, because I was just felt it. I mean, after 4 deaths and in college, my mother's terminally ill in my senior year of college. It's like I couldn't take anymore. And I just want people to know that, hey, these are our stories. We've overcome. You can overcome. Sometimes we read stuff years ago, other books that someone in the 1800s. This is today. We're telling you what we've survived, and that you could connect with us live in person. So you don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And
yes,
we all have a story. All right, Doctor, what you got there, Deborah?
Okay, for me, it like Dr. Stevie said, we love Dr. Karen. We love her, and her body of work is just about flawless. It is flawless. So, and then the title, God-Fident, that grabbed me because of my love for God. And I'm one that I've come from behind the shadows with a vengeance. I've always stayed in the background and prepared the good stage for everybody else, but I've come from behind the shadow with a vengeance. So it made me confident to do what I'm doing. So God-Fident it just it is the path that I am on to stay on and to continue to run it on. So Dr. K was a big factor, and then the title grabbed me as well, and it gave me another opportunity to share my story of faith and overcoming and enduring.
That's so powerful. And it's so, oftentimes our voices are muted. I have my little thing, but I mean, we really are muted. And particularly when we experience trauma.
Yes.
And we all know that trauma lives in the body. And if you know that somebody said it, but so I'm not going to take credit for it, but they talk about the fact that depression is anger turned inward, right? And the fact that sometimes that bitterness, that we get from experienced trauma, that it becomes like an acid, and they say that acid does more damage to the vessel that where it's contained than it does on anybody else. We got to pour it out on other people. Hurt people hurt people. Well, the reality is, until we let the story go, not saying we get over it, but we share it out so that it doesn't hold us hostage. Once we share it out, it no longer has the control over us that it had when it was holding us, right? Mm-hmm. So it's something about telling your story. So I say, is every story for everybody? No. And is every story to be told in every detail? Absolutely not. But is your story, Dr. Cheryl Wood says, your story, look, is about you, but it ain't for you. And so the truth of the matter, it really isn't. We all women of faith. Mm-hmm. And God says we all have gifts. We have all gifts, talents, and abilities, but those gifts, talents, and abilities are not for us. Mm-hmm. It's not for you to hoard and hold all tight to yourself, and that includes your story. Now, there's some things I went through in my life, and I said, Lord, did I have to go through it? I mean, could we have talked about this? And he probably tried to talk to me about it, but I probably decided, he probably said, go that way. And I said, I'm going to go here this way. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, that thing, once I went there, he said, we're going to have to go ahead on, you didn't change the story, the narrative. Right. Or I knew you was going to go there, but I was hoping that the Holy Spirit would have you go that way. But nonetheless, I digress. So this is what I want to hear from each one of you. I want each one of you. First, I want to ask my co-host, Hope, do you have a question for the ladies before we let them each give a little word, a final word to the folks that are listening and maybe thinking about joining the anthology or writing their own book, but they're afraid? What words of wisdom do you have for them? So Hope, what you got?
So first of all, thank you all so much for coming on. I went on live earlier and I told everybody to tune in because it was going to be fire, and I was right as always. But one thing I want you all to each touch on, I know you all have different experiences being an entrepreneur, but what one piece of advice would you give to that new entrepreneur or an entrepreneur who has failed and is second guessing whether to start again?
I would tell them to look back on those things that didn't work for you, and look forward to doing it over, because God gives us so many times to redo a thing. So redo it again. Get you some coaching if you need some coaching. Whatever you need, go and get it. Invest in yourself so that it is hard to fail. And if you fail, you're failing forward. So you're much better off than where you were if you did not try again. So in this life, we have to endure it. We have to overcome it. And we must begin again with whatever we need to begin again with. So don't let that be an excuse. And take it from the number one procrastinator, because me and procrastination used to fight. We used to knuckle up every day. But I am telling you, get whatever you need to make yourself successful. Start investing in yourself little by little, with maybe reading some books on where you need to go, getting you a coach on where you need to go. Find somebody that is really much more smarter than you are and further ahead than you are, so that they can get you there, hit your wagon to what is in front of you, and invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. You will be so happy that you did.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. All right. Who else? What else you got?
I can go ahead. No, you go next. this time.
Okay, thank you. I would just say God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And so if we are kingdompreneurs and we really believe the Bible like it says, unless we're just playing like we believe the Bible, then we need to understand the words that it says. And really with that, I would say as a new entrepreneur, if I were to do all these 12 years over again, I would definitely say that there's not one right way to run business. Think about all the hamburger restaurants in your city. Is there one right way for somebody to cook hamburgers? People like them more than others. And guess what? Even the high-end ones, it's called a steak, but it's the same piece of meat, ain't it? So this shit comes from that. So you have to understand that there are so many different ways for you to run the business and run it the way that God has told you to run it. Period, point blank. I'm done.
That's good.
Amen. Dr. Charlene, look like you were raising your hand. You're muted. You're muted.
I didn't know if Sebrina was going because her and Dr. Steve was talking at the same time, so that's why.
Okay.
I can go. That's no problem. I would say be patient, be teachable, and as I stated before, definitely make failing a part of the process. Because if you're not failing forward, then you're not failing. You know what I'm saying? You're not actually doing anything. I was afraid. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted everything to be right. I didn't want to make a mistake, but that kept me back. I was in my own way. And when I realized that it wasn't about me, that it's okay. The only way you're going to learn is through failing. The only way you're going to learn is through watching others. The only way you're going to do it is to get out there and do it. Like there's a book called You Can't Learn How to Ride a Bike in a Seminar. You can't do it. The only way you're going to learn how to ride a bike is to get on that bike. You're going to wibble wobble, you're going to fall, but you got to get on the bike to do it. So the only way that you're going to learn how to be an entrepreneur in your field and become an expert in your field is to get out there and do it, to connect with people who've done it before. And as Deborah stated, get yourself a coach, but get out your way and just know that God has a purpose for you. He has a plan for you. He's not going to let you fail. He's not going to let you just totally give up on your dream and your purpose. So just get out there and just do it. You know what I'm saying? The only way to move from a novice to an expert is through trial and error and through going through the process. So let's go. Get out of your way and come on, join the club.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Charlene. What you got for us, Sebrina?
Well, I would say don't let age be a factor. I retired from the United States Postal Service after 35 years of service. I will be 59 years old this year, and I am living my best life through Girlfriends Tea because I'm doing my passion. So find your passion, because when you're doing your passion, especially what you're good at as well, you won't feel like you're really working. You feel like you're planting a seed, something that you've always wanted to do and maybe did marginally, but now I can do it full time and accept help. My co-host, like you have a great co-host, Stephanie and Hope. My co-host, Tamika, is the absolute best. She's a godsend. She's a godsend. And women can connect, and women can be confident, and women can uphold one another. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely love it. And don't be afraid at all to ask for help. And I'm very hesitant in that area, unless I'm paying for it. Now I ask all day if I'm paying for it, but to ask for it as advice. I have mentors, and I've never had so many mentors now in Girlfriends Tea. I absolutely love it. And just have an open heart and want to just share, every blessing that the Lord has given you in your new walk, because it's a new walk. It's a new discovery.
I can't wait to cook, because I'm getting ready to be on a guest on Girlfriends Tea, baby. I'm ready to get the tea and bring the tea. I can't wait. I just, listen. I love it. Girl, the Hope, yeah, she just started some more mess, didn't she? Do it again. Show us again. What you got? Do it again.
This is my signature. Whoop, whoop. I cheer on all the girlfriends. Deborah knows that. So yes, I cheer on all the girlfriends. Stevie too.
What you think about that? I love it. I love it.
Some pom-poms now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be selling pom-poms. It's gonna be Girlfriends Tea pom-poms.
That's awesome.
But wait a minute, and you also, so now everybody, although you each put it in the chat, so everybody, you in the chat tells you exactly how to reach these fabulous, fabulous women. I want you to take this opportunity. I mean, really, one, I and Hope and I, this has been awesome. You know, we love it when our Christian women come on, because, you know, it's like for real, like our good girlfriends, we can feel it. We can feel the love. We can feel the authenticity. And we know for a fact that what you all are giving to the world, only you can provide it. And whether it be this book, whether you're speaking on a stage, whether you're using your voice or it's written words, what you have to say is exactly what somebody needs to hear or read. So I honor you and I thank you for being faithful, because that's what it was. You were being faithful. So do you have anything that you want to tell folks, like how to reach you, or anything that you, any special goodie that you want to give besides the 5 people that already got the ebook? Is there anything you want to share with them?
I have a complimentary video that teaches you how to increase your visibility, credibility, and cash online. And it's a simple link. Is workwithstevie.com. All you need to do is spell my first name correctly, Stevii. And an easy way to remember that my friend told me is that the II stands for increased income. So Stevii, workwithstevie.com. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Hope, and thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Anybody else? You know, we're gonna give y'all a moment now.
Yes, I can definitely give away a copy of my Rescripted Life book and a copy of Surviving Her. And then Stephanie, I will give you the pleasure of choosing whoever you choose you wanted it to go to, and you can just send me that information, whether it's 2 different women, whether it's 1 woman, 1 lady. It's up to you, and I will send it out.
Okay, so y'all, I know who already put in here to get the first book. So I tell you what, if you missed the opportunity, you wasn't able to type that fast, and that thing is sitting right there in your box. Go ahead and hit send. Go ahead and put your name and say, all right, look, that would be me, and put your email address in there. That would be me, and put your email address in there, and we will pull it, and we will make sure that Dr. Charlene gets your information so that we can forward it to you. Anybody else?
Well, to reach Girlfriends Tea, you can find us at Girlfriends Tea with Sebrina. Thank you, Frederica, for the tea shout out. Girlfriends Tea with Sebrina on Facebook. Join our private Facebook group. That's where we have fun. But we're going to be welcoming this Friday Jewel Tankard, Dr. Jewel Tankard. We're going to welcome her as our premiere on Roku. And I'm giving away tea. I'm giving away loose samples of tea. And I will give away, I did a spoken word album, as I shared earlier. So I'll give away 2 copies of that. It's called The Test. And it's about the tests that we go through as Christians and how God is always there to let us know the way. So girlfriendstea.com, join the private Facebook group, Girlfriends Tea with Sebrina, open only to ladies. And we hope to see you on Friday at 6:00 p.m. as we welcome Jewel Tankard.
All right. So ladies, we're going to see you back. So Hope, you want to take us on out, ladies? Thank you again for your
yes. I wanted to give something away really quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I wanted to give away a 15-minute consultation for anyone that is going through any kind of grief or deep sadness. So you can go to my website and make an appointment there. And then also, I'd love to give away a copy of my first book that I wrote, Grieving Under Grace, which is a wonderful book that you can journal in as well. And I love to give a copy of that away as well.
Baby, oops. Uh-oh.
And Stephanie, I forgot to neglect to mention, I'm doing a Soul Kiss series starting this Monday. Every Monday from February 7th to March 7th at 8 p.m. It's the Soul Kiss series. And then we're talking about the effect of trauma on relationships. And the first one on Monday would be offenses. So I'm inviting anyone who wants to join to click the link, and they can register for the Soul Kiss series. And we'd like to see you and help you overcome the trauma relating to relationships, offenses, intimate relationship, family, generational relationships, and identity.
All right. So y'all, it's all kinds of goodness. So this is what y'all want to do. We got to in this chat, make sure if it's not in anything that you mentioned is not in these chats, make sure you go in there and put them in there so they can pull the information and they know how to get access. All right. So wait a minute. Then. Did I get it? All right. So that was a 15-minute grief consultation in the book, Grieving Under Grace, correct?
Yes.
All right. Let's make sure we have that information in here. Look, I see. Let me see. Just so y'all, you might have to grab some information here. I see. All right. Julie says this has been amazing and thank you. And then we have, hey Deborah, love your ministry from Frederica.
Thank you.
All right. So ladies, I'm going to put you all back here. This is Hope. You're going to take us on out.
Well, again, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight on Her Story, Our Story. As you know, as Speaker Stephanie says so eloquently, it's our story, but it's not for us. It is to share. Just remember to always allow your light to shine. The light inside of you is the Holy Spirit, and it has to come out because that purpose is put inside of you for a purpose, on purpose. God created a purpose before you were even born. So it is up to you to go out and let it shine in the world. So we thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you all will join us next week at 6:30 as we have more powerful guests. Again, you can listen to the replay. It will be posted later today. And we just thank you all. And Dr. Stevie, we just want to let you know that we are praying for your father and his healing. We know that he will be healed 100% because God is a healer. And again, we just thank everyone for coming on, and we hope to see you all next week.
Hello, I'm Charmaine, and I want to talk with you about Speaker Stephanie. I have been working with her through my journey, and you all may know her, and of course I know her as a transformation architect. I know her most for being the Tower of Power. And since Stephanie has actually stepped into her power, I've seen the way that she's been bold and confident and humorous, just such a presence. And she invites those who she works with to be a presence as well. She has been such a gift to me and has really helped me develop my speaking skills as well. So if you are looking for someone who will help you with your confidence, who will help you grow in even your humor, but also teach you how to have a presence, I invite you to really consider Speaker Stephanie. You won't be disappointed. I am so happy and proud to be a part of what she's been doing.